A Democrat senator has been indicted for bribery, and we're asking ourselves, are they going to stop right there? Are they going to go after the president too? Because a lot of Joe Biden's conduct is exactly like Senator Menendez's conduct. But this is not the first time Menendez, a Democrat, has been indicted. He also got indicted about 6 years ago. There were claims that this dude was hanging around with some very nefarious characters, apparently hanging out at the Dominican Republic, having intercourse, prostitutions, all sorts of things. Some of these allegations involving underage individuals. Okay, not good. So this is the story of Senator Menendez. He's already been indicted once. He escaped charges barely with a hung jury on that one. But now the Southern District of New York is indicting him again. And we're sitting here asking ourselves, very interesting timing. Remember, the context around this new set of indictments is that Merrick Garland just showed up in front of Congress, didn't have such a good day. People were accusing him of perjury, lying to America, people asking about these double standards. We have mountains of evidence of Joe Biden's criminality, but they can't do anything about that guy because he's their presidential candidate. And if they hurt him in any way, shape, or form, that could be the end of America, according to them, because Donald Trump might be reelected. Oh no. So what do they do instead? To help evaporate the idea that there is a massive double standard, we already know they're concerned about the legitimacy of the Department of Justice. They keep talking about this. Even Merrick Garland opines about this. You know, the attacks on the agency are inappropriate. Well, people are attacking the agency, so-called, attacking with their what? Free speech? Because you're doing such a terrible job and because you've got double standards and we're tired of seeing them. So you can easily zoom out on this thing and say, all right, look, so they just go after one senator who they already know is corrupt as heck. And they say, all right, we got to give one to their side. All right, we've indicted their guy 4 times. 4 times. We can't indict our guy even once. So who's the next best thing? How about Senator Menendez? He's a piece of work who sleeps with underage girls anyway. So they give this over to this guy, Damien Williams, and he comes out from the Southern District of New York. We'll listen to the press conference before we dig into the details.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, nice to be here.
My name is Damien Williams, and I'm the United States Attorney here in the Southern District of New York. Today I'm announcing that my office has obtained a 3-count indictment charging Senator Robert Menendez, his wife Nadine Menendez, and 3 New Jersey businessmen, while Hannah, Jose Uribe, and Fred Davies, for bribery offenses.
5 total.
The investigation that led to these charges has been run out of the Southern District of New York. The indictment alleges that between 2018 and 2022, Senator Menendez, the senior U.S. Senator from New Jersey and the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and his wife Nadine Menendez, engaged in a corrupt relationship with Hannah, Uribe, and Davies. The indictment alleges that through that relationship, the senator and his wife accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars of bribes in exchange for Senator Menendez using his power and influence to protect and to enrich those businessmen and to benefit the government of Egypt.
Okay, so as we're going through this, you could easily just substitute in the name Menendez for Biden, right? Just play that game if you want to at home, and it is really kind of shocking how much it applies. So in this case, the one distinction we got to be careful about is that Menendez was too dumb to use a bagged man. I mean, he kind of did. He had his wife, but he was very close to his wife, and they obviously communicated a bunch of stuff about this. So he kind of had a bagged person, a bagged woman, where Joe had a bagged man, and there was a lot more separation between the two. But you can still say the same thing, right? That Joe Biden used his position, his power and influence to enrich other businessmen. That's why he was on the phone, showing up at meetings, getting stuff done for them.
The indictment alleges that Hannah, Uribe, and Davies provided bribes in the form of cash, gold, home mortgage payments, a low-show or a no-show job for Nadine Menendez, a Mercedes-Benz, and other things of value to the senator and his wife.
Hunter had diamond rings, he had prostitutes, he had all sorts of other trips and expenses paid for, not to mention $83,000 a month coming in from Burisma, tens of thousands of dollars that he would threaten people with his text messages. I'm sitting right here with my dad, Z! Stuff like that. So the same type of things. Now, he also, I think, got a sports car. Okay, it wasn't a Mercedes, but I think it was even, more expensive than that. That was transferred over, $142,000 or something. So same type of stuff. Now, Hunter, of course, was not a senator. That's true. But his daddy was. And this is a couple, right? This is Menendez and his wife. Joe Biden had one maybe degree of separation because it was Hunter.
Now, constituent service is part of any legislator's job. Senator Menendez is no different. And as we explain in the indictment, there are things that Senator Menendez says he can do for his constituents and things that he says he cannot do for his constituents. He put it all on his Senate website. So for instance, it says he cannot compel an agency to act in someone's favor. It says he cannot influence matters involving a private business. It says he cannot get involved in criminal matters or cases, period. But we allege that behind the scenes, Senator Menendez was doing those things for certain people, the people who were bribing him and his wife.
Nice.
Now let me say a little.
Now, just to pause on that very quickly, here is what you might find if you go over to his website. And this is exactly what it looks like. This is actually Senator Menendez's website. And this is something that you can do, okay? You can actually go and contact your senator if you need help with something. They actually have a contact page, many senators do, and people will contact them to do certain things. For example, help you communicate with a federal agency or submit an inquiry on your behalf. So for example, I know immigration lawyers, and oftentimes immigration lawyers will advise their clients to go to their senator's website and ask them to submit an inquiry on their behalf, literally. Request information about a status report, assist you with the IRS and federal taxes, like your senator is supposed to serve you. But they cannot compel an agency to do anything in your case, overturn or influence matters involving private businesses, can't do that, intervene with judicial issues or legal advice or recommend an attorney. We can't get involved with pending litigation, civil lawsuits, child custody, imprisonments, avoid court decisions, provide you with grants. We cannot do that. We can't help you with property taxes, right? All of those things. Now, of course, Menendez offered to do those things.
A bit more about the conduct that's alleged in the indictment. The indictment alleges that Senator Menendez took several actions as part of this corrupt relationship. First,
did he go to dinners?
The indictment alleges that Senator Menendez used his power and influence, including
to fire prosecutors?
His leadership role on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, to benefit the government of Egypt in various ways. Among other actions, Senator Menendez allegedly provided sensitive, non-public U.S. government information to Egyptian officials,
like classified
and
documents,
otherwise took steps to secretly aid the government of Egypt,
like Hunter did with Ukraine.
We also allege that Senator Menendez improperly pressured a senior official at the U.S. Department of Agriculture to protect a lucrative monopoly that the government of Egypt had awarded to Hana, a lucrative monopoly that Hana then used to fund certain bribe payments. Second, the indictment alleges that Senator Menendez used his power and influence to try to disrupt a criminal investigation and prosecution undertaken by the New Jersey Attorney General's office related to an associate and a relative of Uribe.
A senator putting pressure on prosecutions.
The indictment alleges that Senator Menendez used his power and influence to try to disrupt a federal prosecution of Davies in the District of New Jersey in two ways. First, by seeking to install a United States attorney who he thought could be influenced with respect to Davies. And second, by trying to influence that office to act favorably in Davies' case.
Yeah, like firing prosecutors or
and as we allege in the indictment,
$1 billion.
The senator agreed to do these things and use his power in this way because Hana was paying bribes.
Yeah.
Because Uribe was paying bribes. And because Davies was paying bribes.
Yeah, getting money, like $83,000 from Burisma.
The public officials the senator sought to influence did not bend to the pressure. That's a good thing. Now, as part of this investigation, special agents with the FBI executed search warrants on the residence and safe deposit box of Senator Menendez and Nadine Menendez in New Jersey. When they got there.
So they weren't warned. So they weren't warned. Now, we know that when Hunter was apparently supposed to be investigated, when there was supposed to be a inquiry into his storage facility, Leslie Wolf warned Hunter's lawyers they emptied the storage facility. When they were going to do an interview and a surprise announcement to all of the family members to talk to them, they were all notified and none of them appeared. Isn't that amazing? So for some reason, the DOJ and the prosecutor's office and the FBI and everybody who's involved in this investigation, they did not notify Senator Menendez about the raid or about the inquiry or any of those things. But they did notify the Biden crime family. Why is that?
They discovered approximately $500,000 of cash stuffed into envelopes and closets. Some of the cash was stuffed in the senator's jacket pockets.
Yeah.
Some of the envelopes of cash contained Davies' fingerprints or Davies' DNA. That's not all. Agents also discovered a lot of gold.
A lot.
Gold that was provided by Davies and Hana.
Yeah.
And the FBI, of course, found the Mercedes-Benz that Uribe had provided them.
Yeah, Hunter had a lot. He didn't have gold. He had a lot of crack, and he had another sports car, but they didn't really look into those things either.
Now, the items the FBI uncovered are discussed in the indictment, which I encourage all of you to read carefully.
We will in a minute.
Let's take a look at just some of the items.
Perfect.
So as you can see here, this is the Mercedes-Benz that we allege that Uribe provided as part of the scheme. What you see here are 3 kilograms of gold. These 3 kilograms together are worth approximately $150,000.
Nice payday for a senator.
Here you can see just a fraction of the cash that was uncovered as part of the scheme. Now I want to make a couple of things very clear. First, my office remains firmly committed to rooting out public corruption without fear or favor and without any regard to partisan politics.
Unless their last name's a Biden. Yeah.
Always has been, always will be.
Yeah.
And second,
tell that to New Hampshire.
This investigation is very much
Delaware,
ongoing.
rather.
We are not done. And I want to encourage anyone with information to come forward and to come forward quickly. And they can do that by reaching out to the FBI's tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI.
We have Joe Biden did the same thing.
Now, a case of this
Joe
magnitude
Biden did the same thing. We know
requires
of
tremendous partnership. And I want to thank our partners at the FBI who have been with us since day one and have been absolutely incredible every step along the way.
Yeah. Shout out to the FBI.
I also want to thank our partners at the IRS IRS for their assistance in this investigation.
Wow. This is so weird. The FBI and the IRS were involved in this investigation, and they were able to actually conduct a search and seize evidence. What a bizarre thing. This is like almost how the Department of Justice is supposed to work. You're kidding me. How come, though, Senator Menendez didn't get warned about all of this?
I want to thank our colleagues from around the Department of Justice, who are far too many to name here and to thank specifically, but they've also been invaluable. And of course, I want to thank the career prosecutors from my office who are handling this investigation. They have done tremendous work. Eli Mark, Laura Pomerantz, Dan Richenthal, Paul Monteleone,
Laura Pomerantz,
and their supervisors, Rebecca Donaleski and Maureen Comey, the chiefs of our office's public corruption unit. I now want to invite up to the podium FBI Assistant Director in Charge, James Smith.
We're curious if he warned the defendant or his lawyers about any of this.
I'm not going to go any further into the case, as the U.S. Attorney Damien Williams explained.
Okay.
But what I want to talk about more or less is the FBI investigating public corruption is one of our top priorities, and we will continue to investigate public corruption cases. I want to thank the agents, the team over here from the FBI, the IRS, for their hard work into this investigation. Many hours and days and weeks and months working this investigation. I would also like to thank all the prosecutors from the Southern District.
Who, Leslie Wolf?
I'd like to thank Damien Williams for his support in this particular
Did they notify
case.
the defendant?
I would like to thank the IRS.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for all your support in this.
All right, any questions?
All right, thank you, everyone.
No questions. All right, that's it. All right, so that's Damien Williams, Southern District of New York. We have a new indictment of Senator Menendez, but this is not the first indictment, and we're going to read through the full indictment in another segment, so click over to that video to watch that one. But this is now the prior trial from Menendez, okay? He has done this before several years ago, about 6 years ago. This was the scene when he was outside the courtroom the last time this corrupt senator was caught.
Supporters cheered as Senator Robert Menendez walked into federal court. He made it clear this would be the first and last time he would speak about the case during the trial, except possibly on the stand.
I appreciate all of my supporters who have stood by me as I try to clear my name.
The investigation surrounds the senator's relationship with a man he calls a friend and campaign donor Salomon Melgen, an eye doctor in West Palm Beach, Florida. The government addressed the jury first, alleging in their opening statements the senior senator accepted lavish trips and gifts in exchange for political favors.
Never, not once, have I dishonored my public office.
Okay,
prosecutors will present evidence that the 63-year-old took dozens of free vacations to Melgen's luxurious villa in the Dominican Republic on his private jet, and that the New Jersey senator turned defendant accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars in campaign donations from the Florida doctor. In exchange, prosecutors say Menendez helped obtain visas for Melgen's foreign girlfriends, assisted with a business contract dispute in the Dominican Republic, and attempted to influence the outcome of an investigation into the doctor for overbilling Medicare by $8.9 million.
Stealing from the government, $8.9 million.
The U.S. Attorney says Robert Menendez was Melgen's personal U.S. senator, but the senator's defense disputes the corruption charges and describes the relationship simply as a long-time friendship.
I started my public career fighting corruption, and I believe when all of the facts are known, I will be vindicated.
The senator says he plans to be in court every day of the 6 to 8 week trial. He will decide on a case-by-case basis if a Senate vote is critical enough to leave here in Newark to go down to Washington. At the federal courthouse in Newark.
All right, so that was the first attempt at this. You did hear that he flew down to Dominican Republic, and apparently when he was down there, he was doing some pretty nefarious things, illegal. Here, feds say that corroborating evidence backed Menendez's prostitution claims, right? This is again from 2015. August 24, 2015, in a court filing, the government says that alleged stream of bribes was properly uncovered. He was investigated, he was indicted. In a court filing rebuffing his bid to overturn the charges, prosecutors revisited uncharged allegations of underage prostitution that kicked off the probe. The filing, curiously, does not say explicitly that the underage prostitution investigation came up empty. In fact, the probe is described as having turned up corroborating evidence. Yeah, but they didn't care. Hung jury on this, and then he's back in the Senate, and they put him right back on the committee. That's what they do. Right back up there. Great job. We love you grifting away, exploiting whatever you can for your own good. Just do our bidding too. The prostitution claim suggested Menendez and his co-defendant on bribery charges, eye doctor, traveled there to have intercourse with these people. And prosecutors say that there was corroborating evidence to support the allegation. No charges for them though. No charges. So he does this first criminal set of crimes, and then he comes back for a second round. The DOJ, in their official announcement, put the following here from the DOJ's website, Southern District of New York. You can see U.S. Senator Robert Menendez, his wife, and 3 other New Jersey businessmen charged with bribery. And so we'll go through the full indictment in a minute in another segment. But here's what this says. Damien Williams from the U.S. Southern District of New York gave us his speech. We had the FBI Assistant Director, James Smith, said much the same thing, and the indictment has been unsealed. So very curious timing on all of this. Menendez has been a corrupt bureaucrat for a long time, but they set him aside. He maintained his position. New Jersey just kept voting for him. Love this guy. They put him back on the Foreign Relations Committee, and he continued his criminality. Why? Probably because he can be bought. That's why he's there.